Alright, so today I'm taking a quick look at Pear Linux, or Comice OS 4 as it is also known as. Now, I did get a few requests for this particular distribution leading up to the initial release, but unfortunately the release had to lapse back into beta again because they found some bugs they needed to iron out. So here we are about a month or so later, and we're back out with the stable Comice OS 4. Now, as you can probably tell, yes, it is a Mac ripoff distribution, and obviously by the icon and by the name, they're obviously going after Apple with this distribution, and I'd actually have to commend them and say that they've done a pretty decent job of it. Now, for those of you who don't like the Mac ripoff distributions, you can just roll your eyes, but I'm also wanting to show you a neat little application here that I really appreciate from Linux Deepin, or Deepin Linux actually, which is of course the Chinese distribution that has been garnering a fair bit of media attention lately, and that is of course the App Store. Now they rebranded as the Pear App Store here, but in actual fact it is the Deepin Software Center, and as you can tell when it comes up here, you have quite a number of useful options and some very nice graphics here as well. It gives you, it really highlights the best in open source software that's available to everybody right now as we speak, and it really categorizes everything very nicely. The graphics look very nice. It's easy to see what system updates you have. Combine that with the Mac OS X icon set, which they have kind of mashed together with the Faenza icon set. You do get some very nice graphics here, and I think they've done a really nice job here with integrating this Deepin Software Center into Pear OS, or Pear Linux. Now, you've also got your categories here, and it's actually highlighted. Now, generally speaking, you do get ratings here as well, but unfortunately, like I've said before, my proxy server here at college can be a bit of a pain when it comes to downloading the ratings for it, but it still sorts them by the ratings that they just aren't showing here. But you can see all of these titles are very well-known pieces of open source software, and they're all well worth the install, and so they really highlight the ones that are the best software. Some of the descriptions for the software, they can sometimes be a little bit sparse, and sometimes they can be a wrong translation as well, but apart from that, it works very well. You also get a screenshot, and you also get the developer's website if of course you are connected to the net, which I am not. Moving right along, now this is of course Gnome Shell customized, so you do have the meta key for mission control, as it has been titled here, to counter in with the OS X ideology. And of course we've got the Docky on the bottom, which has your Finder, Launchpad, Pear App Store, LibreOffice, Skype, Evolution, Banshee, Firefox, Clementine, which is a music player, Shotwell Photo Manager, and Movie Player, System Settings, and the other windows that you might have opened. Now, it doesn't come with any other wallpapers except for this default one here, and then we've got the panel applets along the top here, including the weather, sound, Bluetooth, and other Wi-Fi devices, and you've got your network, battery, calendar, and time, and of course the user. And then of course clicking on this just achieves the same settings as the meta control, which may lead you to asking, how do I access my applications if there is no applications heading here under Gnome Shell? Good question, and that question is answered with Launchpad. Now, Launchpad is a product that the Elementary team have been working on for quite some time now, and I can't wait to see Elementary OS Luna come out. That will be a big release. But along the top here, it's basically like the Launchpad for OS X, obviously, and that's why they've included in this release. So you can see here along the top we have categorized software categories here. And it's all fairly easy to launch. One thing that I would recommend is trying to launch this into your RAM when you start the machine, because otherwise it can be a little bit slow to start up than what you would want an app launcher to be. So you can see here we've got all the software that we have pre-installed here on the Launchpad, and you've also got the filtered searching typing up the top here. Now, the Elementary OS Launchpad is going to look different from this, but this is one of the earlier iterations that they've decided to stick with because of its familiarity with the original OS X Launchpad. Apart from that, there's not really much else to speak about. Of course, we've got some very nice Mac theming here. All of the widgets and the window controls do look very Macish indeed, which is not exactly to some people's taste. One other comment that I would make is that it would be great to see if Ubuntu could integrate some multi-touch gestures into their operating system. It's not hard to do through third-party apps, but at the same time it can get a bit fiddly with your with editing config files manually and things of that nature. So it'd be very nice to get some multi-touch gestures, and that would really parallel the Mac OS X experience. Having said that, this is a 1.3 gig download. You do get a decent selection of desktop software here out of the box. Very nice for the new user. This is definitely one that you can use to show off to your friends about Linux and just how well it can potentially run and how good it can look. And also, I do like the App Store that they put in there with Deepin Linux. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to have a look at Deepin Linux, because I know there have been a few other reviews around it and I have had requests for it. Also, I'm looking to review a Puppy Linux type of distribution, so in the comments below leave me a suggestion of which Puppy Linux distribution I should look into, and hopefully if there is one particular one that seems to be garnering more attention than the others, I shall look into that one. Thanks everybody once again for your support. You can hit me up on Google Plus or Twitter. And also feel free to check out my blog, which doesn't actually get updated that often, but I should endeavour to do that in the near future. All the links are down below. Thank you once again for watching, and I shall catch you guys later. Peace out, everybody.